Okay. Script here. Should just do a mic test. I think I'm loud enough, but shush, quiet, no. Turn off. Cut it off. Hush. Stop. Oh. Stop. You too. Let's go this way. That way. Well, anyway. Howdy, folks. My name's Ben. This is my truck. No, that's not how it goes. It's very windy. Very windy. Indeed. Anyway. Howdy, folks. I know you have a couple questions. Who was that guy at the beginning of the video? Who's on the screen? What has Ben doing with the truck? What's going on? All be explained in due time. All you need to know is that this is my truck. It's not running, and I'm going to get it fixed and give you a little bit of history along the way. That's it. So this is my 1993 Ford F-150 XL. That doesn't mean anything. It's a deluxe version. It's got 1 and 2 gas tanks. If you walk inside, it's got the nice plastic leather seats. Let's hop on in. Ooh. Yeah. You've got all the amenities. You've got that and that. It's a 4-speed manual, but I have no idea how to work that. A classic cassette player that doesn't work. Has neither heat nor cooling, so just get blown in the face with air. Here's another gauge for the front and rear fuel tanks. It's just a gem, except for the garbage, which I don't want to clean up. So basically, this thing has been parked here for a long time, since I think 2015, 2014, and it was running then because we did have to park it from the driveway to here. Then after I think a year and a half, tried to start it up, nothing happened, and then the downward spiral started happening. Here, let's get you under the hood. Alright, so this is a 4.9 liter inline 6 gasoline fuel injected engine, which, if you don't know, they started the engines with carburetors and then switched these fuel injected ones to save on emissions and stuff. So Ford, instead of putting them somewhere, useful so you could fix them, like say over there where it's nice and spacious, they decided to stick it right down in there, underneath all the hoses and the metal bits. Right there in the center of your screen, that's one of the injectors, and all of this has to come out to get to those. The reason why I'm pointing out the injectors is because that's what I suspect is wrong. You see, over time we tried to fix it. We put new little ignition stuff, a new battery, new spark plugs. We know that we have spark. What we don't know is if we have fuel. We did pump out all the bad fuel in this tank. And now we know that we have fuel, good fuel, getting to about here. We don't know if it's getting from here to those injectors, getting into the cylinders, and firing whatever. That's what we suspect is wrong. So that's going to be fun. So to take, or at least get to those injectors, this has to come off. This is the intake. Got to get rid of all these hoses, at least get them out of the way. And to do that, there's, walk around. There's these little bolts like these, and they're like a bunch of these. This is one of the easiest to get to, but there's one somewhere in there and somewhere in the back that are going to be impossible to get to without, you know, hurting yourself or just being absolutely uncomfortable. So that's what I've got to do, but hopefully not alone, because I do have a friend coming out here that should help me like get this running. So eventually all of this will be gone and we'll get to that fuel rail, fuel injectors, so that we can take those out, clean them, make it, hopefully they work. If not, just replace them and see if this thing will run. But before all that, let's hook up the battery and let's show you how it sounds when you turn it over. So engine, let's the battery. This right here is the throttle body. Push down the accelerator, it goes whee, air goes into there, and then some other stuff happens, and boom, car. So there's 4 bolts, top and bottom. Let's take those out, disconnect them, hoses, wires, and you're fine. Slide her off. Let her fall over. That's just a bracket for the shroud. Take the gasket off. That's definitely going to need replacing. It's fine though. Get it later. Alright, so next. Intake is connected by this little thing over here. I have no idea what it is, but it's broken. All right. I got some magic liquid. Don't drink it, kids. Unless you got rusty parts inside of you. I should stop talking. lifting up is just a better option. I'd like that to be my senior quote, please. It's got to amount to something. Working in that grease. Let's see if I can get that. Look at that. Alright, I'm gonna pull that lever and you should see something move. Just don't fall over. Alright. Okay.
Look at that thick boy.
Woo. Alright, so nothing silver now. The intake is completely gone, and now you can see a better look at these injectors. So this right here is the fuel rail. Fuel goes from the tank all the way up to here and squirts down to these little things. This little wire goes in here, activates a servo that sprays a little amount of gas into the cylinder. Spark plug ignites it, pushes the cylinder, and then the cycle continues. So this is where I think our problem is. You could already see this fuel rail is incredibly rusty, and so are the injectors themselves. So we gotta get the fuel rail out and then look at the injectors. All right.
Okay.
So, viewers, that's the door. Underneath said door, bad door. So, underneath the cab, on the driver's side, there's a fuel filter that goes in both these tanks. That goes through the filter to the engine, to the fuel rail that we just showed you. Now, the only way to get to it is by going under it. You can only disconnect it with this little yellow tool. I've done this many times, and it sucks because like you gotta jam it in there and then wiggle it around, and then you gotta actually pull it off, and then gas goes everywhere. So who wants to get covered in gas? I don't, because I've got a flammable head. So you do.
So I
And you've got like a better jacket.
better jack. There you go.
Ooh. They are incredibly rusty. Let's take a look at these.
Peace.
Look at how rusty that is.
Did you know where my phone went?
Did you check your pocket?
Yeah.
So now we've got that open. All right, here. What should we do now? We don't want the fuel going in there. Let's see.
Got the injectors out, guys. Feels like we're in freaking Antarctica trying to work on this thing.
It sucks. You probably
Wanna
can't
head
hear us.
inside for a minute, dude?
Yeah, let's Make sure this doesn't fall down.
A few minutes to recoup our thermal energy.
Make sure nothing flies into there like a leaf. All right, so as we do the compression test, we are also going to see if we're getting fuel out of the injectors.
Yep. So we'll be cranking it, so we'll be able to see whether the injectors are doing anything or not.
So we're killing two birds.
Yep. Alright. Well, I think we have an air leak from that that hole there because I don't have mine in tight enough. Yep. Alright, I don't have it in. Okay, crank again. Yep, all the injectors have fuel coming.
This is what he's. There it is.
I'm not a car mechanic though, so don't quote me on that.
You can see that's not supposed to be touching that bit there.
I'm just gonna move on to 3 because I can probably thread into.
If you look at the threads, they're all
3's
messed
going
up.
Right in, so. All right, crank again. All right, stop. 75 on 3. And I think a little white particle blew out of 2. Neighborhood auto repair. That's like 2
That's right over there.
miles from me. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right there. Do you want to call them?
Yeah, that's what we usually call. I mean, they probably won't know me, but I'll try.
That's all right.
So, just talking about the compression stuff. So, let's see. What's that?
I'll mute
I
myself
was-
so we can just screw around.
I was worried that it was gonna be like the entire piston just broke off the crankshaft, and that's why we had like
Well, no, you're making some compression, so at least your rod is
some
low.
compression. Let's go 150 pounds.
I guess the best possible thing here is some dumb simulation.
What is the name and phone number that you sent to?
It'd be Sam, and the phone number would be 208 763 5788.
And what was the vehicle that you're working on?
It is a 93 Ford F-150.
What is the motor?
It's the let's say 4.9 liter.
Yeah,
inline
4.9 liter
six.
inline 6.
Perfect. And then you said questions on compression?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I will have to give you a call right back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. Now we wait.
All right. Bye. They heard you. comment.
Right, so I was very scared for a second when you just pulled out the number 2 and it was just like garbage and pulled out of this. Like, oh god, the valves are broken off, the piston is in half.
Well, the
Jeez.
valves wouldn't affect it. I guess the best situation is, first of all, if it's something really simple and dumb, something electronic maybe
Yeah.
has a compression release system.
Oh yeah.
Don't know. Probably doesn't, but
I pray that it is just a dumb little thing that we can just go and now it works,
yeah.
because that would be the best option.
Second best would be there's a problem with the valves, which is still terrible, but it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Because the valves is just pulling the cylinder